It's the PM Hour. We talk about those things that we feel is important to the black community, and it's centered around our people, the diaspora. You know what we about. Let's get right into it. My name is Patrick.
I'm Tasha.
I'm Terry.
Oh yeah, and I'm Gary, and it's all about the melanin, y'all.
Right.
Yeah, and right now, you know what's the coronavirus. Everybody know about the coronavirus,
It ain't
and
left
right
yet.
now we do have the vaccine, and
Okay.
you know a lot of people could kind of think, okay, maybe that is behind us because we have the vaccine now. We could kind of get back to normal. You know, we can start going out and having dinner in a restaurant and
A little
things
bit
like that.
freedom, right.
Yeah, twerking
Right?
and freak nicking. Yeah.
But this one over here with the twerking. All right, y'all focus.
Yeah.
Right.
But we don't. I want to bring this up. We don't want to lose sight. We always
Yeah.
talk about what affects our community,
Right, and our
right,
health and
African American
stuff, yes.
community,
Yeah.
and actually, this coronavirus affected our community hard, right? Because
Yeah.
of a lot of the underlying health issues that we had in our community. And so I just want to bring up this topic. I kind of wanted to bring it up about a month ago, but it's still relevant because I don't want us to forget about our health, right? We may not have, the coronavirus, we have a vaccine for that, but it's still more to it than that. And this topic that we thought about a month ago is something huge in the black community. And I just want to play a little clip for you guys, and then, we can discuss after that.
Studies have shown that black Americans suffer from peripheral artery disease, and they're more likely, when they do, to lose a limb to amputation than people of other races. One doctor in Mississippi is working to close that gap at the local and national levels, and his efforts were highlighted in a ProPublica piece. The Black American, let me spit that out properly, the Black American Amputation Epidemic.
Right? And
She called it an epidemic.
it's
Good
an
Lord,
epidemic.
man. For a
It
black-
is an
black,
epidemic.
wow.
It's actually, when you think about it, later on in the piece, they talk about how it's an epidemic that's flying under the radar.
Yes.
And this is why I wanted to bring it up, because what always happens with things that affect our community? It flies under the radar,
Yeah.
right? It's not some big flashy headline news. And I'm saying now that health is not something that's on the forefront of people's mind, a lot of that it will go under the radar.
Yeah. 'Cause Black lives don't matter. That's
Exactly.
they show you. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, what they talked about in this piece is it is an epidemic. And when you think about the amputation, it stems back from diabetes. And diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, is heavy in the black community. And a lot of these rural areas, and not even just rural areas, but areas that's heavy with African American, they don't get the information and the care that they need to deal with their diabetes.
Right.
And so that's left untreated.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on. Years for it to even come to the point of it needing amputation.
Yes.
Right? And so that's where we're at. And I know, a lot of you guys, you could comment, you have like an auntie or a relative or somebody in your family or somebody in your friend's family that that have suffered from something like this.
Yeah.
So don't say it's not an epidemic when we each can name somebody that we know that suffered from this.
Maggie.
Right, sis?
So-
Grandma. Maggie?
When it comes down to the situation with the diabetes or any other health issues, that part is totally true. And then far as say, I'm going to get it just a little savvy with it, because when you are in the medical system, and I dipped and dabbed in that field, it comes far as to with the insurance carrier. When you have the information that is given to you, they will try to minimize it as possible. Yes, they will let you know and say, you are covered. You are covered, let's say, with the Medicare. You are covered with Medi-Cal. You are covered, let's just say, with PPO. However, but in that big, broad spectrum, you, just as the person, you know that you are covered with all this type of information.
Break it down.
Now, when they know they have a job to do, everybody goes through training. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to read these people cards and stuff like that and go through processing to see this Medi-Cal insurance cover a certain percentage, whether it's 30%, 40%, and the Medi-Cal covers the other 60, or let's say the other 80. So because they split with these people, regardless, like I said, the diabetes or whatever their other illnesses is. Yeah. So now, before this person get worse, before the amputation, you still have to run them before they get to the doctor. You see what I'm saying? Because my whole thing is, why let it get so far? Because you're running their information. When you go to the doctor, your information is run. Because when you call that telephone and say, yes, I'd like to make an appointment, they ask you, oh, who are you with? What is your Medi-Cal information insurance? So they're knowing what you have.
What's going on.
So then, my whole thing is, sometimes these companies would like to run the Medicare first, because the Medicare will pay out first.
Wow, you dropping.
You see what I'm saying? They pay out first before Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal like to sit back and chill, poop, laugh, and giggle. That's what they do. So then, before when you go.
Or whatever.
No, I mean, not to be laughing at
but poop laughing,
but not to be laughing and being funny. But this is how it gets caught up, and this is how it hurts our people. Because if you realize, and not to be funny, it is a lot of us have with these plans with the Medi-Cal or whatever. How because we are sickly. This is why a lot of us is on SSI, have whatever you want to call it with the AFDC assistance. However, but that's a whole nother situation. But what I'm saying is, this is why I get this far. Is because the Medi-Cal, when it takes so long, but it's not our fault. It's the people who's behind these situations in the Medicare profession, is because they know they do not supposed to run the Medicare first. You're supposed to run the Medi-Cal, is because they cover that big bulk. Once they supposed to run that first bulk first, then you run the Medicare, you will be covered, and then we won't have to get these type of amputations because it's a speedy up process. Because if you don't cover this part first, guess what? And if you only covering the second part first, oh, you're not covered at all. That's just like when you go to the pharmacy. The pharmacy will tell you, oh, no, you're not covered for this medication. You have to call back the doctor and see if he could give you another one. Yeah. But if you not say you ain't about your business, but if you know what you cover for, you're going to call them back and say, hold on. I know I have such and such plan. You need to run this or run that. Oh, guess what? All of a sudden, you're covered.
If I get diabetes, I think I want my sister to treat me. You done dropped a whole lot of knowledge. I didn't know. Damn, I think you just educated a lot of folks out there right now. I didn't know, man. Wow, that was real deep, sis. That was real deep.
Yes.
Wow.
That's how these situations work.
How do I follow that? The thing is,
she was bombed though. She dropped off.
Man, that's crazy, huh? Yeah. Wow, I didn't even know it's like that. I'm not as privy to these information as my sister is. Definitely. So leave a comment on that. But anyways, what I think about is the systematic factor. As far as black people, they get better treatment when their doctor they see is black. We had episodes of getting black boys into the medical field because in the future sense, it helps all of us if we have more black people within the field. ICE hysterectomy, we did another one of the episodes of that. Yep. So systematically though, this just highlights another way that we can protect ourselves as people.
That covers everything.
Like what do we do to put these safeguards in place? What must we do? Because if we don't, and we don't continue to push in this avenue, then we're not going to have those kind of safeguards, right? We're going to be circle back around to the same complaints, whatever else. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things in different areas of treating the body and health-wise where we're not getting better treatment than anybody else. There's a whole lot of, brain surgery, how black people been affected in it, foot doctor, whatever it may be. Yeah. We're probably not getting treatment from head to toe. Compared to everybody else. Right. But that's because part of the blame is our fault, right? What's the saying? Part of the blame is our fault for making sure we hunker down on getting our people enough in position to treat our people the way we're looking for.
But that's what this situation is, and that's why I wanted to highlight it with Dr. Faluso, because he's a black doctor, and it took him to even tackle something like this,
Yeah.
right? And not even just this.
To care, really. Even just
to
even care.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he could have been doing anything else, but
Seriously.
this is what he.
How many black
Well, I
doctors
think
out
one of you
there?
guys said he moved to
from North Carolina to
he moved-
Mississippi.
Thank you,
Oh, it was
sis.
North Carolina. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
that's where
Yeah,
he
right.
moved
Just
from.
my point. The
To
black guy
tackle
came in and
this,
caught
it
it.
took it took
did.
us. So at
know
the end
what?
of the day, we got to look out for us.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned like a whole bunch of other stuff, but even like that doctor, that Nigerian, I think he was Nigerian doctor that discovered
Gorilla
the
Glue?
thing. Well, was
sorry.
it that? Okay, yeah, that helped the
Gorilla Glue girl,
the
the
lady
black man
with the
figured that
gorilla
out.
glue.
Right.
But no,
Okay,
not
but
just
not
that.
that.
But no, with the head concussion, with the football, with playing football and the head
Yes.
concussion, right?
Yes.
70% of the football players are African American,
Yeah.
and you know that was gonna fly under the radar, but it took somebody. One
Like-
of us,
black
Yeah.
black doctor
to bring
figure
that,
that
to
out.
the forefront
Yes.
and fight that fight.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. We can't leave it up to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
You
up
know,
to us.
Yeah.
You know what?
Right?
And then the great thing about Mr. Faluso was Dr. Faluso is, he's not doing this for credence, and he's not doing this, for everyone to look at, a black, revolutionary come back. It has nothing to do with that. This is just something that he just sees just as a problem, and it just relates to what he feels. He just really feels for black people, and he understands the heart of a lot of the, where this is happening. Like you said, start from Mississippi, but a lot of it's really in the southern areas. A lot of it's in the south. So this is definitely a shout
And
out
if
to
you
all my
follow
southern
like the
brothers and
census
sisters.
and the racial makeup, a lot of this is epidemic in the black
areas, southern
Yeah.
areas, right? So this
And
is
literally
just,
an epidemic.
a shout
Yeah.
out there to my southern brothers and sisters out there, because the main point of what I'm trying to get at is the awareness, and I think that's where we need to just kind of really focus. So we know that if we don't take these proper care, and not it's just the stuff we eat and how active that we are, then we're going to be definitely misled. But before we know it, we have type 2 diabetes.
Well, it's all about the melanin.
You know what in times it is, you feel me? So again, to the black communities is what I'm saying. Look at this, just the dynamic. Awareness is the hugest thing I want to get out there, because this is our communities that's being affected. And if you guys could understand the concept that this doesn't happen to other black people that you're connected to out in the world, then what's happening with us here? Right? Let's start focusing on what we're doing on our health. Let's start paying attention, man. Let's not let Dr. Sebi die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me get one love for the
Right.
Yeah.
Ashe.
And that's why we do these stories, right? That's why we bring it to you guys, and you guys can always comment. If we're missing, some information, you guys can let us know. Hit us up on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter,
iHeartRadio,
TikTok,
Apple
we on
Podcasts.
TikTok too, but get that TikTok pocket.
Wherever
I know.
you
Yeah.
have podcasts,
Yeah.
you
You
can
know
hit
what it is,
us up.
yes.
We everywhere.